Hi, hey, this is Tammy Goodman, and you saw the title of my video, My Life Sucks. If that's what you've been saying to yourself, this is for you. Okay, I'm going to go to the Bible, John, chapter 5, and we've all heard the story about the the guy that was sitting there for 38 years by this miracle pool. Let's go over this miracle pool. Why this guy was sitting there for 38 years until Jesus came along. So this guy was sitting by this pool, and evidently this pool was this magic pool that once a year an angel came down and stirred up the water, and who was ever in it first got cured. So Jesus comes up to this guy, and I'm going to get to the point here. And he said, well, basically, what's your story? And he was like, I've been sitting here for 38 years, and that every time I go to try to get in the pool, someone beats me to it. And basically, he was moaning and groaning. So, Jesus, the epitome of compassion was like, get up. So right now, I'm going to say, this guy was sitting there for 38 years. So are you sitting there and waiting for God to do what you can do yourself? Basically is what Jesus was telling this guy. You sat there for 38 years, wallowing in your pity, and you could have the power to change your life right by yourself. So a lot of you have the power to change your life. A lot of you, just changing your life is getting new friends, because frankly, the people that you're hanging around with, if they're moaning and groaning about their life, and you you look around and you're going, what are these people really doing with their life? And you become the people you hang with. So if you're hanging with these people on a constant basis, you become and you adopt what they do. I'm going to go to this story about these gorillas I just read. They had this experiment where they put these bananas over the staircase. And so there was 5 gorillas in there. So every time one of them would try to get the banana, they would spray them with cold water. So the next time the next one would go to get the banana, each one of them would get sprayed until the last one. And so the last one finally went to get the banana. And the other ones attacked him to protect him from getting the banana. So they took out all of them but one, and they put in new gorillas in there. And you know what happened? Every time one of those new gorillas would try to get that banana, the one that was in there before would attack them. Then they even took out all those gorillas, again, except for one, put in a whole new batch every single time. That one would attack them. And so it's a learned process. So if you're hanging with other gorillas that are doing the same thing because that's the only way that they know how, then, and you keep on repeating the same pattern. Okay. Now let's get back to Jesus with the guy that's moaning and groaning, and he sat there for 38 years. Are you going to sit there for 38 years more, or you got to get up and do your part that you're supposed to do to change your life. Now, some of you also, I'm stealing this from Joyce Myers too. I'm just redoing it in my own version here. Some of you are using other things as excuse too. You might even be using your children as your excuse as to why you can't change your life. I don't have time. I don't have this. I don't have that. You know what? You don't have, you won't have if you never do anything about it. Some of you too are staying in relationships too that you're better off without because you're afraid of change. You're afraid to be lonely. And you know what? You're probably better off without that person, you know, if they're not treating you right. Okay, let's get back off of that. So, Jesus not only said, get up and walk, and most people don't think about the part where he's telling him to get up and walk. They're just seeing it at the miracle part where he got up and walked and picked up his mat. No, basically he was telling him to get up, get over yourself, and start working, you know, doing your part. If you're waiting on God, maybe he's waiting on you to do your part too. So, sorry, a little bit of nose run. I get a little excited and my nose starts running sometimes. So, are you going to moan and groan about your life, or are you going to get up and do your part? And you can use your excuses on what happened to me. Well, it's me. You don't understand where I came from. You don't understand the abuse that I had. You don't understand the things that I've gone through. You don't understand. Okay, you can use that the rest of your life to stay exactly where you are, or you can use it as God wants you to do and make it better for someone else. You're going to stay exactly where you're at, doing exactly what you're doing, if you don't do anything. And Jesus wants you to get up. God wants you to get up, pick up your mess, is what he was telling the guy when he told him to pick up his bed, is basically is like, by the way, don't just leave that there. Pick it up and clean up your mess. So, get up and clean up your mess, whatever messes you made of your life. Maybe it's amends to someone that you've done wrong or whatever, but whatever. So, God is not only telling you to get up and get over yourself and get on and do your part, but don't just sit there and clean up your mess and start, you know, getting on with your life. And by the way, what happened when the guy got up and picked up his mat, he actually was able to walk. So, in other words, he sat there for 38 years and did nothing and waited on God. And God was saying, I'm waiting on you to do your part. Maybe your miracle is going to happen when you do your part. You can't just sit there and ask for miracles. It's like, I'm sorry, I may offend anybody. Someone on, I see this happen all the time. People with their hands out all the time. They get used to it. They grow up with it. And that's all they expect is people to give them their hand out. And to give them their hand instead of, you know, them helping themselves. That's what God is saying to you. He's like, you ain't no welfare child. Get up and do your part. You know, you got to do your part. I'll do my part. All right. I hope that made sense. So, read John 5 and read it with some new eyes now. Don't just sit there and read it with God is doing a miracle. He is telling this guy, John, oh, where's my glasses? Let's read it. It's called The Healing at the Pool. So, the one that had been invalid, John 5:5. The one who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, do you want to get well? So God is going, do you want to get well? Really? Sir, the invalid replied, I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, someone always gets ahead of me. And Jesus, he's moaning and groaning to Jesus, and Jesus is like, get up and pick up your mat and walk. So he's not just saying, oh, get up. Let's try to get up. No, he's saying in a loud voice, get up. Is Jesus, God, saying in a loud voice to you, and you've turned a deaf ear maybe, get up and do your part to change your life. Or you're going to be sitting there for 38 years more. And walk. So again, he's telling him to get up, clean up your mess when he told him to pick up his mat and walk. In other words, start taking steps. Walk. Don't just lie there. Get up. Start taking your steps to change your life. Okay, everybody. I've preached it myself long enough. This is me talking to me too. Get up. Get on with my life. Keep taking the steps. And when you get up, sometimes you might trip. You might fall. And if you listen to those people that you've been hanging with, they're going to keep you and try to pull you back and pull you back down and make you sit down there and stay on that mat. Yeah, they want you to stay right there with them and keep them company. Misery loves company. So, get your mat, get up, and start living your life. All right. Be a blessing to someone else, too, today, because blessing others blesses yourself, too, is what I always say. You have a great day. Get up off your mat. Start taking those steps. Change your life. Bye-bye.